All right. Hey guys, it's Jeff with Simply Derivative. In today's video, we are going to be covering how to set up our thinkorswim platform to trade options and futures. Um, this is really a starting point for people just moving to this platform or just starting to trade these products. You want to really have your platform set up in a way that's going to maximize the workspace and also give you the information that you need to see when you need to see it. And so customizing and understanding the platform, whatever you use, is really important. Um, you want to make sure you know what it can do for you, how it can help you, how it can save you time, and really get you the information that you need the most. So let's start by really getting into the platform. By now, all of you guys should have downloaded thinkorswim already and have it installed, whether you're using a PC or a Mac. Make sure you download it, install it, and we'll really just go through the walkthrough, starting with the monitor tab and getting the information that we want, and then going into customizing the platform, the charts, adding some indicators, and then any questions that you may have, we can go over those as well. And as always, if you guys have any questions after the video, please feel free to contact us and visit our site at simplyderivative.com. And let's get right into it. Okay, so like I said, by now you should have downloaded the platform and installed it on whatever you're using, PC or Mac, tablet. Pretty much you can do what you need on the different platforms or pieces of technology that you're going to be using. What we're using, what I use, is a custom rig that we built. A lot of RAM, a lot of memory. It's really fast. It's basically a gaming PC, a high performance gaming PC. We trade with multiple monitors, and so we're going to be able to customize thinkorswim really however you want. Let's get right into it. So install the platform, ignore this. Let's go to the monitor page, which will be the home page, and you should be under the activity and positions tab. Okay. What we want to do is customize the information that we're going to be seeing on this monitor page, this activities and positions. This is going to tell us what positions we're actively holding, what the P&L is, the quantity, the specific information related to the different options that we're going to be trading, the futures products, everything that we want to know in a snapshot, we want to have right on the home screen. And there's a couple additional things that we can get into later down the line about beta weighting and how to customize even your numbers of what's popping up. So there's a lot to learn, but we're going to try and keep it simple today. So let's go to the little sprocket on the far right of the position statement tab. Let me know when you guys see that. We want to know, obviously, how many contracts, how many shares, how many whatever it is we're trading that we have. We want to know that quantity. So that's going to be an important piece of information that we're going to want to know. So you're going to want to have that under your current set of variables. You can just scroll down and find that. You guys can match what we have here on the screen. We want to have the days to expiration. That's important for our options trades, important for our futures and options trade, knowing the expiration dates. That's definitely something we need to know and would want to see how much time we have on particular contracts, etc. Trade price is pretty self-explanatory. It's the price at which we executed the trade or got executed at. The mark is what it's currently sitting at. It's typically between the bid and the ask. That's just good for, I mean, you can have the last price on there. Either one is fine. But mark and mark change is a a good way to know kind of where your product's at um, in a given day, in a given moment. Then the next three things that we're going to add on here are going to be some of the Greeks that we want to include. Uh, Obviously, our deltas are very important, so we're going to have that on our monitor tab. We're going to have the gamma, which is also important, and also the theta. There's a few more Greeks out there, but these are the three primary ones we look at. Let me know when you guys have this customized set up. You can add or subtract things that you want or don't want, but these are highly recommended to have these particular items on there. When you're ready, just hit OK. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to want to save our work for whatever reason if something happens, and then you don't have to go back and customize this again. So let's go up to Setup in the top right of the application, in that sprocket. And you're going to hit Save Workspace As. And then type in a name or a label for this setup that we're going to create. This was just an old label I had on there for this setup. If you have multiple monitors, if you have different indicators and studies you like to have on your charts, set it all up, then save it. And the next time you open up thinkorswim, you can just load that pre-configured layout, and voila, you'll have everything ready to go. So let's go up to the setup, and now let's click on the application settings box. Back up to that sprocket in the right-hand corner. You should have a pop-up that looks like this. All right. We're going to go under the Positions tab. Here we go. So basically, we want to see the percentage of profit or loss. We also want to see the P&L since we've opened this particular trade. There's a few other variations of this setting. You can change it to what you've done on the day in terms of P&L versus what you've done on the year. There's a day versus since you've opened it. For me, I like to see where we're at in terms of percentage return because we have various exit strategies that we use based on returns for a couple of our different option strategies. And I like to see where we're at since opening the position. What we've done on the year or the day, it doesn't really matter that much to me. You can figure out how much money you made each day. You don't need to see it. I rather see what the position has done since it's been opened, along with the percentage P&L number. But customize it how you want. I have those, the percent and the open. Everything else you don't really have to change anything else in here. Let me go through active trading. No. System is another thing that you want to go to. Let me know if you see the system and you can click on that. So quote speed, it should be real time, no delay. Okay, make sure you hit apply settings. The rest of the settings in here is just really how you want to customize it. You can change the font size, you can change the look and the feel of it. Just depends. Other than that, I think we're good. In this, make sure you guys hit apply settings. I'm just going to hit cancel, but you guys hit apply settings, and then it should, your home screen monitor and activity and positions tab should look like this. Very similar. Great. Now, what do we want to do next? The first thing we want to do is, let's pull up an options chain, since half the things we trade are options. A good percentage of what we trade are options. Let's go to the trade tab. and let's pull up any stock or instrument that you want to look at. In this case, I have SPX, which is the S&P 500 cash index. Right now we're at 2648, up 5 on the day. Hopefully you guys are all familiar with an options chain and the basics of it. What we want to do is basically, just like on the monitor page tab, we want to customize the information to our liking. And so what we're going to do is just basically include and remove certain pieces of information so we see certain things that we use in our analysis and ultimately when we execute trades. So here we go. Okay, so get to the trade page and then pull up, let's say SPX, for example, or the SPYs or Qs, it doesn't matter. Open a chain. Let me minimize this. I don't need to have that many. Okay. So right here under the layout section, next to options chain, we are going to go to customize. All right. So basically you can copy what we have on here. These are the items that we use, the pieces of information to help us in determining our trading. The mark, last, again, very similar. The mark is where it's priced at currently. The last is where it was last traded at. Those can differ sometimes, and that matters. And so I like to have both mark and last on our options chain. I also want to see the net change in terms of an actual dollar amount, not the net change percentage or the percentage change. The percentage change is going to be crazy when you're dealing with options. You know, a lot of times you're getting several hundred to maybe several 1,000% returns on some directional plays that we take, or when you see the market run up, you're going to see the put side get destroyed, and the percentage returns are going to be, sometimes very large. And I don't find it beneficial to have that on there. I like to see the actual dollar amount. And so that's why we have that up there. Again, we want to have our delta. Delta is one of the most important things when trading options, and if not the most important. So we definitely have to have that on there, especially when it comes to deciding our strikes, knowing the expected move on the market, where it could possibly trade to. So we definitely want to have delta on our options chain. Now the inverse to delta, or pretty close inverse to delta, is probability out of the money. Basically, what's the chance that this option is going to expire worthless? And you can use delta, probability of in the money and probability of out of the money, as proxies for each other, if you will. If you know the delta, then you know the probability out of the money, and vice versa. But I just like to see those up there to help make our trading decisions. We also want to see a volume and our open interest. Volume is basically the number of contracts traded today. Open interest is contracts that are still sitting out there, that are still haven't gotten filled, that are filled. And so knowing the volume and open interest is also important in terms of our trading strategy. Let me know when you guys have these set up. If you like other things, if you need other things for your system, for your style, for your strategy, then obviously include those. This is, again, assuming that we're starting from the beginning, someone who is just getting introduced to options and or futures and wants to trade in these markets and wants to do it in a way that's simpler than others out there. And this is one way to do it, by customizing your platform and only seeing the information that you need to see. Let me know when you guys have gotten this done. Okay, so the next thing is, let's go to the strikes right in the middle. So just click on that, add 50, add 25. It really depends. on what you're trading and how you're trading it, and that's going to dictate how many strikes you're going to need to see, because given your rules for delta and volatility and how close you want to be to the markets, etc., having more strikes is going to allow you to see the full picture. All right, so this is our options chain. This is how we set up our options. This is what we want to look at. I want to show you guys one little quick thing real quick. If you go to this blank box and then white box in the top right, I'm sorry, the one below it, right here on the options chain, you click that and it detaches as a new options chain window. So you can have multiple options chains open, looking at different products. Okay. This two arrows next to it in that same spot basically just expands all of the chain. It just opens the chain all the way up on every expiration, every strike. I wouldn't recommend doing that. It's going to, suck up your PC or Mac or whatever you're using in terms of your power. Just whatever you're trading on, you can have a couple open. Whatever weeks you're looking at, months you're looking at. But that's really it in terms of the trade tab. We use Active Trader occasionally for futures trading, but the majority of our futures trading is done via TradeStation. So let's go to the charts tab up top. Okay, I would just put in any symbol you want to look at, and you guys are only seeing one. It should look like it's just going to be one big chart, right? Okay. So what we want to do is go up to the top right hand corner, not the setup button, but it's going to be below the setup button, below the on demand button. It's going to look like a rectangle. This is going to allow us to open multiple charts. So you highlight this, you're going to open up 4 charts. You highlight this, you're going to have 2 on top of each other. You highlight this, you're going to have 2 stacked side by side. You'll have 3 stacked by side. If you highlight 3 or 4 or 5, you can have a 6 by 6. You can have an 8 by 8. So it's really dependent upon what you're looking at, how many monitors you have, is really going to dictate the size and how many charts you want to use. For our trading style, we definitely use multiple time frame analysis, and no matter what we're trading, whether that's futures or options, we use multiple time frames because it allows us to find the best opportunities, lowest risk, highest probability of opportunities out there. And so we use it in futures, we use it in options. For example, I just had a 4 or a quad set up before I took this down. It was 4 charts. If you want, you can have 2 charts side by side. You can have 3 in a row. Really just depends on, again, your style and what you're going to do. So look at all those. You can have a whole mess of them. You don't need them. But on thinkorswim, for our options trading, we use certain indicators. As you guys can see, it's already on here. It's the TTM squeeze and the wave, both created by John Carter. Shout out to John Carter. Really good indicator. It's really the only indicator I do use, and it's basically a combination of a Bollinger Band and a Keltner channel combined, and it's finding momentum in certain products, stocks, ETFs, futures, whatever you're trading. So those are the only 2 indicators that I actually use in thinkorswim, and so I'll have multiple time frames up, all with the indicator up there. So let me know when you guys get your charts set up the way you want them to, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 15, whatever. Okay. Um, what did somebody do? What's an example? How many charts did you guys set up? Okay, we'll keep it with the 4. Okay. So let's get into actually customizing these particular products or items, the actual charts that we're going to use ourselves. So I'm just going to go back to 1 just so you guys can see me do it on 1, and then you can go in and customize it on all of them. Sound good? Back to the blue part. Let's get back up here. Find the chart settings sprocket for me. Let me know when you guys are there. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to customize the look and feel of the charts just to keep it simple and clean for us. Again, we're going to have a couple indicators on there if you would like. This is what we have on here. This is what we use to really for our directional options strategy is we use these 2 indicators. Again, it's just a squeeze and the wave. John Carter created them. They're free on thinkorswim. So if you guys have the platform, you'll be able to use them. If you don't, look it up. John Carter's all over the internet. You can definitely find him easily. And his indicator and how he created it. Again, it's basically Keltner channels and Bollinger Bands. And it's measuring the momentum or lack of momentum in a stock. And really, okay, I don't want to get into any further detail on that. We can cover that in another video. But let's start with customizing the charts. Let's go to appearance. And then we're going to select a few different things again just to make it look similar to what we have up here. On the ticks, under the green fill up, you just want to highlight that box. Click that box, make sure there's a check mark in that box. Make sure there's a check mark in the fill down and the wicks. Okay. And then down underneath the common section, there's a box that says grid at the very bottom. Unselect the grid box. So we don't want to see grid lines. Background, change it to whatever color you want. Thinkorswim, I use black. TradeStation, I use white. Why? Don't ask me. Don't know. I just like the way it looks and feels. So, you know, it's nice to mix things up once in a while. So, again, I use black. This is exactly how you guys are seeing it right now on my screen. Is how this is the platform I trade off of. So, and it looks this way. It feels this way. So, if you like it, mirror it. If you don't, you like some of the things, you can use some of the things, tweak it however you like. But again, this is just a basic walkthrough of our setup. Let me know when you guys get all this set up. Good to go. You can change the color of the crosshair. You can change the actual, what it looks like on the chart. Chart type, you can, you know, use a line, bars, whatever you guys are really comfortable with. Let me know when you're ready. Okay. We're going to go to equities. For me, I have volume on a subgraph, that box selected. That's in the top right of this equities tab. Okay. And then under the access section, that bottom half section, under the show extended hours, I have that unchecked. The only time I will have that checked is around earnings times and or market open for gaps and stuff. So, but I just keep it unchecked. Okay, let's go to options. There's not much you have to, I don't think there's anything in here that you have to change. And then let's just skip right over and go to futures. Again, you'd want to have the subgraph, volume subgraph, either selected or unselected, depending on what you like. I have it unselected. And then showing the extended trading hours, we want to have that selected as well for futures. They trade 24 hours. We're pretty close to it. Let me know when you guys have that. Make sure you're hitting apply too. Doesn't have to be after each one, but after you do a couple of them, you want to make sure you at least input the settings. Okay, let's go to favorite time frames. Now, Thinkorswim, they give you basic time frames that most people are going to like and use, and it's just going to be fine. I like to have a little more data so I can scroll back and see price history. As you can see on the smaller time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, 8 minute, 15, 30 minute, I use 20 days as the period, the max that Thinkorswim will allow you to customize. So if you want to customize these, you can hit edit on them, or you can just hit add time frame. And you just want to have, depending again on your style of trading, if you're doing day trading, you're going to want to have smaller time frames and bigger time frames. If you're just going to be swing trading or trading options, weekly options, or directionals, you want to have bigger time frames. Your hourly, your 4 hour, your daily, your weekly, those type of time frames. For me, I have everything since we trade everything. So I have a 10-day 1 minute, and then 20 days 5 through 30 minutes, and then we go. It's just basically the max that Thinkorswim will allow you given the sub period. So 90 days 1 hour was the max that Thinkorswim would let me go back in terms of days back and have a 1 hour chart. 180 days for 4 hours, 20 years for daily, 20 years for weekly. So let's see. Oh, you could do max available too, but I just did 20 years. The aggregation period is 1 day. And for weekly, obviously, 20-year weekly, and then you can do monthly. You can do option expiration, so you can customize the charts, which is cool. We're actually another video we're going to do is on TradeStation how to set up custom sessions for different products, but it's going to be specifically for the futures market. In trading, let's say the equity indices, you only want U.S. hours on your chart. We can set that up. If you want like crude oil or gold or nat gas or copper or interest rates, we can set up custom session times on those to match the exchange of when the product's open for its quote-unquote pit hours. So for crude, you can have a chart that shows trading activity from 6 a.m. Pacific to 11:30 a.m. Pacific. So there's different things that you can do in terms of charting and multiple time frames, and looking at certain pictures to get the best opportunity. Okay, and let's see, time access. There's not much we have to change in here. If you guys want to see some bars, some empty space between the right vertical axis and the actual candles in the expansion area box under the time access tab, basically input a number higher than 0 in there, and it'll give you some space between the edge of the chart and where price is currently at. So I have 3 bars, so it's basically three blank spaces, 3 blank bars of space. Price access, we don't have to change. And general, under the general tab, make sure your time frame is the right time frame. In terms of your layout, I like to have the overlap volume on there. Again, just to make the chart look cleaner. Let me know when you guys are ready. When you're ready, hit apply and OK. Okay, so let's go up to Setup again. Save your workspace. Couple more things I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you how to add, since you guys are asking, I'm going to show you how to add these two indicators to the chart. And then I'll go through the setting up a scan so you guys can scan for some opportunities using this particular strategy. It's more of a freebie for the video. This is something we typically go over with our students in our group coaching and or our one-on-one coaching. So you guys are getting a free gift today. All right, next step. Back up to that blue bar at the top of the chart. Under next to application settings, that sprocket, we're going to go to the far right, and under the studies tab, we're going to click on that. Okay, we're going to add study. Yep. We're going to go to John Carter study. We're going to add squeeze. And then go back up to studies. Add study, John Carter. Add the wave, which is the last one. Let me know when you guys have it set up. Alright, so you can drag and change the size of the box for the indicators. They don't have to, look gargantuan on your charts. Like, you can minimize them, make them smaller. Because really what you're looking for is certain things when using these indicators. So it's not imperative that you see it in its full view. You rather look at price that way. Price is going to be your truest gauge of uh, what may happen next. So play around with it. But once you have the studies, again, go back up to the setup in the top right and save your workspace again. I know it's tedious and repetitive, but it'll save you a lot of trouble going forward if you guys are able to set up your charts one time and use that going forward. So you don't have to deal with it and hassle with it and forget something or you want to eliminate as much complication, potential for mistakes as possible from your trading. Having a nice, proper working environment is ideal. Let me know when you guys are ready. All right. Okay. Oh, another bonus tidbit. If you go over to the Help tab at the top, this is basically showing, and you go to the System category. This is basically a snapshot and graphical representation of data and your memory and just a bunch of noise that you don't need to see. But what you want to do is just hit collect garbage from time to time, and you'll notice your free memory spikes. Your used memory goes down. As trading volume increases, the market starts to move, you start to have other charts up, you start to have options chains opened. These numbers are definitely going to fluctuate. Your performance is going to fluctuate. And so, again, having a good system, a good computer to run this on is, I think, important as well. And knowing your system and how to optimize it by learning this little trick will definitely save you some headache down the line. So anytime you feel there's some slowness to the application, or loading charts or loading an options chain, just remember, go to the Help, System, and then collect garbage, and it'll help speed up the program. Okay. And let's see, what else did we want to go over? Scan, Trade, scan. Okay, let's go to the scan tab. And this is the last thing I think we'll go over in this video. Um, this is really, I mean, you could do this manually just by having a watch list and just going through it and typing in each stock on in your charting and seeing if the criteria is met. Or you can utilize the technology at thinkorswim and create a scan that will basically do all that for you. You still are going to have to obviously look at charts. You want to look at your charts and look and see if the criteria is actually met for this given strategy. And if it is, then great. If it's not, you're just moving on. But this is a way to see actual stocks, ETFs, whatever, that are quote unquote having that squeeze going on at the moment. And so let's set that up for you guys, and that'll be it for the day in this video. Okay? Okay, so if you go to the Scan tab under the Stock Hacker, which is going to be the first one that comes up, we're going to go to the far right, that same line where Stock Hacker's on, and we're going to go to one below it, and it's next to a little flame, but it's the bullet point that we want to click on. Then we're going to go down to the load scan query. And then we're going to hit create scan. Okay, and for this we're going to use, let's say, momentum stock option scan. All right. Now you could take this basic scan and you can customize the hell out of it and find, you know, only high beta stocks or stocks with near 52-week highs or 52-week lows, or only have certain IV ranks, or you know, only have certain volume, or trade on certain exchanges, etc., etc. This, in terms of how we use it, it's somewhat basic. We're just looking for a stock or ETF or whatever it is that's in the beginning stages of building momentum for an upside or a downside move. It works better to the upside. We want to have certain volume in that particular stock or ETF just to make sure it's liquid. And then we want it to be at least over $10. When you get lower than 10, you get lower than 5, you start dealing with penny stocks. A lot of them don't have options. A lot of them, I mean, you could technically buy the stock. That's what a lot of penny stock traders do, I guess. Since they are so cheap, you don't need a lot of buying power. But they're also penny stocks for a reason. So we just like to stay away from that whole area and focus on what we like to do and what we are good at, and that's this. So name the scan however you want, and we're going to set it up. We're going to scan, in this instance, it's going to be a scan in all stocks, all available stocks. And you should have 3 basic filters in this box. Is that what you guys are seeing? Okay. So we're going to change 2 of these particular filters. The percentage change, we're going to get rid of. There's an X at the far right of the box on each of these lines for each of these filters, and just cross out or X out the bottom one. And then the net change, we don't have to X it out. Let's just change it. We want, so we're going to have volume on here, and then we want the last or mark on here. And the last, obviously, is going to be the last price that this particular product traded at. So $10 is our minimum. Maximum, we don't need a maximum. And volume, we want to have at least 500,000 shares traded. Okay. Okay. Show, depending on how many stocks you want to see at one time, you can preset how many you want to pop up. I just do 200. And then you can further sort the symbols or add other studies to sort the stocks when they come up in the list. I don't do that, but you can. We're just doing this basic scan. Let me know when you guys have this set up looking like this. Okay, the final thing we're going to do before we hit save is we're going to go to Add Study Filter. It's going to be your third button. And go down to that new box that popped up. Yep, and we're going to find the TTM squeeze. And it is under, here it is, License Studies. Yep. And then we're going to go to the TTM squeeze scan. We're going to add that in there. Now, you can hit save, and this will be your scan going forward. But before we do that, I want to point out one item on here that's very important, and that is you can change the time frame criteria under this particular scan for this filter. So for this overall option stock scan that we're finding in the TTM part of this, the squeeze part of this filter for these stocks we're trying to find, you can change the time frame. So going back to our multiple time frame analysis, where we want to see, at least 2 or 3 time frames for a given product that we're trading, just to have a good picture of where we're at given where price used to be. We want to look at a bigger time frame and an intermediate time frame and then your smaller time frame. And so the same can be said about finding opportunities as well. And so being able to customize the squeeze time frame parameter is huge. So you can scan initially for daily squeezes, and this basically means on the indicator there's some red dots, red and green dots on the midline. When it's red, that means there's a squeeze occurring or it just started, depending on how many dots there are. And so that'll show up for a daily squeeze. You can change this to a 4-hour, a 2-hour, a 1-hour, a 15-minute, a 5-minute, and it'll find you opportunities out there in the universe of stocks within these parameters, if there is any. I just leave it on the daily to start, and whatever time frame you do choose, you can always change it, but after you guys are done, you just hit save and you're good to go. Alright guys, that was the walkthrough on setting up your thinkorswim platform to trade options. Specifically, we also trade futures on here. But in this video, we focused on setting up our charts, setting up our monitor tab, setting up a scan, and kind of understanding the basics of thinkorswim and how to use it. Depending, again, if you have multiple monitors, if you have different products you trade like futures and options, there's different ways to use this and spread out your workspaces. But overall, thinkorswim is a really good platform, very easy to understand, and once you're able to customize it like we have, you're going to enjoy your trading much more. So if you guys don't have any other questions, and if you do have questions, further questions, feel free to email me, get in contact with us, visit us at simplyderivative.com. You can always check out our group coaching, live trading, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with our members, trade, chat room. You guys taking trades, looking at trades right alongside me and our other traders. And we find opportunities and we take them live in the markets. And we talk about platforms, we talk about trading. So it's really a good time if you guys want to take your trading to the next level. Yeah, we'll go from there. Until next time. All right, guys. Until next time. Best of trading and good luck. Take care.